Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy. Today we're going to talk about my feelings on the Nintendo Switch 2 that we are 3 weeks out from launch day. Assuming this video goes up the day I'm recording it, we will be exactly 3 weeks out for June 5th launch. I haven't really done a huge amount of content on the Switch 2 because I've kind of been waiting to do more stuff closer to the time. You know, I did all those reaction videos to both the directs that came out recently, and talked about, you know, the pricing and stuff like that. But how am I feeling about it? Because we're getting closer to this console launch, and a lot of information has come out, which I want to talk about some of that stuff today. But my overall vibe right now is I am excited. I am excited for a new piece of hardware to get my hands on, and I think that's something that is always very exciting for me, is getting that box day one, opening up the box, turning the system on, getting the feel of what the hardware is like, learning all the intricacies of it, seeing what like the eShop's going to be like, seeing what the main menu is going to be like, trying out mouse control, all these things that are part of that sort of day one experience. The hardware is just an it's hard to see from videos and pictures just like how good the hardware or bad the hardware is going to be. How's it going to feel? You know, is it going to be smooth? Is it going to be rough? You know, you don't really know these things until you get the system in your hand. You're like, oh, you know, getting a chance to check out the dock, the main tablet, the Joy-Con, like how much better are the Joy-Con, how much bigger are the Joy-Con, all of these things. And that's the thing that I'm really excited for. Like, it's been 8 years since I bought a Nintendo Switch, and my Switch 2 is going to be coming, and I'm like, you know what, I am super excited for this. I cannot wait to just take 5 minutes when I get the system to just look over the thing, get a vibe for it. You know, I've got to go through the process of setting the system up, which is something that I quite enjoy. When you're like, boom, fresh, brand new system, putting my Nintendo account on it, I'm sure, hooking up to the internet, all this good stuff. It's going to be that like new feeling. It might not be like as new because this isn't a huge change in form factor. It's not a huge change in how the main menu looks or how the eShop looks. Like, there are changes, there are differences, but maybe not quite the jump. And you know, that familiarity might dampen that a bit, but I don't really know until I've got the system how I'm going to feel about it. Obviously, the games is a big part of this Switch 2. Now, realistically, the launch lineup, while decent enough, there's not a huge amount of Switch 2 games there, like on launch. Like, you've got all these ports and stuff. You've obviously got Mario Kart World. But Nintendo need to do a lot of heavy lifting very soon of like, here's what's coming. And there's a couple of games we know about, but we need to know a bigger stretch. We need to know in the next year, really. And for me, like, you know, I'm looking forward to playing Street Fighter 6. I'm looking forward to playing Mario Kart World and Fast Fusion and Cyberpunk and just a bunch of these different games that I'm really looking forward to having on this system, especially Street Fighter, because I like Street Fighter 6 quite a lot, but I've only got it on my PC, and like, you know, when I want to sit down and play multiplayer in it, I want to do that local play. So I'm glad that I'm going to have 2 controllers, nice, easily set up to be able to play Street Fighter 6 in my own house, in my own living room. Sorry. I'm just looking forward to doing that a lot. Obviously, Fast Fusion looks amazing. Looking forward to playing that along with Mario Kart. So that's my racing needs answered for a while. I'm still very excited for Mario Kart, but I'm still a little bit like, I need to play this game to see how the game's going to play. How's it going to be? Like, what are we doing with this game? How much different does it feel from Mario Kart 8? You know, so, and then Cyberpunk is more of that wasn't a game that I absolutely loved, to be honest. I think Cyberpunk was a 7 out of 10 when I played it, but I'm very curious about how it runs, how it's going to work and whatnot on the Switch 2, so that's why I'm kind of interested in replaying it. I haven't played it since all the big updates and changes, so for me it's like, oh, okay, this is like a brand new, like a take on it, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think I'm also picking up Bravely Default Remaster as well. I'm not sure on that one yet, but I was thinking, oh well, you know, maybe you should give that game a go. This does lead on to one interesting thing that I think has caused a lot of controversy with a lot of the information that's come out as of late, and that is the game key cards. To break it down to you, on the Switch, a lot of games had the code in a box. It was just a download code, so you'd buy the physical box, but you'd have a code in it, and you'd still get the game digitally. Game key cards are essentially the same thing. You plonk it in like you put in a physical cartridge, but all that essentially does is just trigger the download and say to the game, hey, you've got the license to play this, right? So the idea is you could lend that to somebody else and resell it, and then somebody else would be able to just get it, because all it does is say you can download this game, essentially. That we know of. I don't think there's any way of those being blocked. Which is fine, but it also sucks that pretty much most of the games at launch, unless it's Cyberpunk or a lot of the Nintendo first party stuff, a lot of it is just downloads. And Nintendo are kind of to blame for this, because they've only offered up a couple of options, or if like one option for the game cards being like 64 gig, I believe. And I think that's definitely going to be an issue. I'm glad Cyberpunk's definitely going on that full card. We're getting the full game on it. That's good. So that's a bit of controversy around it. I don't like that. I'm still not a fan of the pricing for Mario Kart World. I think it is unjustified. I think that it's an arrogance. You know, we're seeing it with Microsoft now. Probably, I don't know if Sony have said anything, but they probably have. Video game like pricing and stuff like that is really starting to push people out of the markets, and what it's going to do is people are going to go towards free-to-play, cheaper games. They're going to be doing back catalog stuff, because games coming out right now are just too expensive, and it's something that I seriously have to consider going forward with the Switch 2. Like, don't get me wrong, I am excited to play Mario Kart. I'm excited to play Donkey Kong. I can't wait to see whatever the next Smash Bros. Game is going to be like on this system. But I have to be even more pick and choosy with the games that I buy now, because right now, getting games on the Switch, I can get a variety of games very cheap. Places like Amazon, places like Currys in the UK, Argos. There's loads of places here where I can get Switch games if I just look around for deals. I don't think that's going to be the case with Switch 2, not initially anyway. You know, I can see places like Amazon dropping Mario Kart and some of those other games down by about 10 quid each once launch date hits to try and get more sales. But, you know, it's a high cost, and I think anybody saying that, you know, it's necessary, I think is wrong. It's not necessary for these games to be this price at all. I'm more than happy to put that kind of money in over time. You know, you buy the game, say £50 or £60 in the UK, and then they ask for 20 quid for a big DLC pass again for Mario Kart. Fine. That's a split cost. I'm fine with that. But the initial cost of just charging £75 in the UK and $80 in America and God knows what else around the world, it still stings. And I think that's one thing that's definitely put a damper on the Nintendo Switch 2 hype cycle, if you want. It's a frustrating time, because I am excited for the system. I am excited to play a bunch of games. I can't wait to see what gets announced as time goes on. You know, there's so many games I want to see come to Switch 2 now that they've got more oomph behind the hardware that can hopefully run a lot of games that maybe weren't possible or didn't run very well. But it's such a rocky start to this system. Like, yeah, it's fresh, it's new, it's what people want. It's launching with one of the biggest game franchises ever. That's how good Mario Kart's become now. But there's a lot of controversy around it. And then you hear good things. You're like, oh, apparently the Switch 2 Pro controller is amazing. Oh, awesome, that's good. Oh, they're doing this. Game share is a flippin' awesome thing to do. The fact that you can literally game share to other systems in the same room from your Switch 2 and nobody else needs the game. That is so pro-consumer. Game chat is another one that could be a big game changer for a lot of people. Like, not for me. The fact you have to pay for it, though, like, or have a membership pass for it, kind of sucks. But there are some really cool things that are going to be happening with this system. It's just right now the pricing stuff, not the price of the system. The price of the system, in my eyes, at £400 or £430 is fine, because we're at a time that we're 8 years on from that. Like, there is inflation, there are things are different. Could Nintendo charge a little bit less for it? Could they make the £400 one, the bundle one in the UK, and maybe a £350? Yeah, absolutely. But this is what we got, and it's not the price of the system. Because the thing is, the system, as long as it lasts, let's say it's got another life cycle at 8 years and it doesn't break, that's a worthy investment. And it plays pretty much most of the back compat of the Switch. You know, there are some exceptions to that, and there's some games that still need to be tested. But that's one thing I'm looking forward to, like popping games in, playing games on the system to see whether they naturally just run better, like what happens with which ones get patched. Doom and Doom Eternal are amazing ports on Switch. I would love it if they could work on Switch 2 with a, you know, if nothing else, just a 60 frames. Like, unlock it, boom, keep the graphics the same, I'm fine with that. Can we have a 60 frames version? That'd be awesome. You know, there's a potential for Doom the Dark Ages to come to Switch. That would be cool. Switch 2, sorry. It's all over the place, this launch of this new system. But I genuinely am excited for it, and I can't wait to start covering things. I hope people will come here and actually see, like, I plan on covering a lot of games, a lot of backwards compact games as well as like doing multiple videos on different games on the channel. You know, I want to cover some stuff for Street Fighter 6. I can actually do competitive matches and record them and upload them. You know, do stuff on Cyberpunk and Mario Kart and, you know, Fast Fusion, and look at what games, you know, just popping my games from my Switch into my Switch 2 and seeing how they run, and potentially doing comparison videos, things like that, right? Like, that stuff's really exciting. It's a really exciting time for me, because it's like, oh, cool, like, new hardware, get to see all this stuff. Just the controversy around certain elements of it are definitely dampened it, that's what I'll say. But yeah, as we are only 3 weeks out, I am very, very excited, very hyped. I've got a big chunk of time off to just focus and play games and enjoy the games. I've got people coming around so we can play Mario Kart multiplayer. Like, I can't wait to just sit and play. Just hopefully everything gets its hooks in me. I can't, you know, and hopefully the system itself, being able to hold it and look around it and just play the thing, is going to feel fun. It's going to feel fresh. It's going to feel new. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I hope other people are as excited. I know that this, again, like, everyone's going to fall differently, or like how excited they are, whether they care about the pricing, whether they do, whether they don't, you know, all this different stuff. But it's an exciting time whenever there's new hardware. You know, I don't necessarily buy Xbox or Sony stuff, but, you know, it's the same thing for that. New hardware comes out, it's an exciting time. So that's where I am right now. Those are my thoughts, those are my feelings. And like I said, 3 weeks away, so not long to wait, and we can kind of get some actual proof of, like, what this thing is like, how is this thing to play, all this sort of stuff that's going to be where you guys will see it in real time, essentially, on this channel. So anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, and definitely stick around, because there will be Switch 2 content coming, hit the subscribe button, and until next video, I will see you then.